I'm Van Helsing, Dr. Jake Van Helsing. I hear that there is somebody ill inside. Oh, this is gorgeous, absolutely beautiful, and can you smell that? You can actually smell the sickness in the air. No, really, you can. Doctors, other than myself, have done studies that have shown that when you are sick, your pheromones change. For example, if you have diabetes, your breath might become stale or sour. Is the patient in here? Oh my, this is curious. Well, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is that this study is fantastic. Kudos to your interior decorator. The bad news is that this man is spectacularly no longer alive. He is quite dead. You know, something interesting happens when you die. Parts of you are still alive. Most of your cells are unaware and they continue their metabolic functions. But when you do die, your heart stops beating, which keeps oxygen from going to your organs. Without oxygen, your brain can't regulate the body's functions, and it can no longer support consciousness. At this point, the cells start dying. But the 4 pounds of bacteria you have in your gut are still very much alive. And since they have no immune system to stop them, start to consume you from the inside out. But isn't that what we're all after? The pursuit of life, the ability to live forever, to not be forgotten. Let's imagine living forever. Really, close your eyes and let's imagine it. Time is vast. It is easy to envision 100 years, 1,000 years, but imagine 5 billion years from now when our sun becomes a red giant and begins to expand. The oceans on Earth boil away and eventually the sun devours our planet. And there you are 5 billion years later, which would still be a speck of dust in the infinite life ahead of you. Open your eyes and I want you to imagine something else. I want you to imagine no longer being alive. It's difficult, isn't it? Because we can't comprehend nothingness. Just thinking about nothing is something. But we know at some point we're going to die. But we can't comprehend not being alive. It's called the mortality paradox, and it's what drives humanity to pursue living forever. And some people pursue it in very different ways, like our friend here, who did not die of natural causes. Oh no, the causes were quite unnatural. As a Van Helsing, I am well versed in the field of vampirism, and judging by the 2 holes on this gentleman's neck, he is well on his way to becoming a vampire. He might turn at any moment. You know, you should probably look away. Ah! Oh, I missed! Ah! Back, demon! Back! Yeah! Oh, I have made quite the mess. Let's just put this here, cover that body, and perfect. Now, just the idea of extending one's life, a taste of it, drives man to do crazy things like pursue vampirism. But it's not as if this concept is foreign, or one of the crazier ideas. If we go back 4,000 years to 2100 BC, we have one of the first great works of literature, the Epic of Gilgamesh, where Gilgamesh goes on a journey to find the secret of eternal life. Fast forward to 220 BC with Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, who tried so hard to fend off death that if you mentioned the word around him, you would be executed. He was also so afraid of dying that he went so far as to have a giant barricade built, what we now know as the Great Wall of China. He also famously sent an expedition of over 1,000 people on a mission to find the elixir of immortality, that precious liquid that would keep him alive. In a cruel case of irony, Qin Shi Huang ended up dying by ingesting mercury pills that his physicians gave him, thinking they would do just the opposite. In general, to live forever, you must already be alive. But what if we could bring you back from the dead? My colleague is working on something quite shocking that we could try. I'm gonna go grab the corpse and I'll meet you at his laboratory. Oh, just look for the sign that says Dr. Victor Frankenstein. electricity really is a modern marvel, isn't it? You know, in ancient Greece, it was believed that our muscles contracted because of fluid flowing through our nerves. And this was the thought for 1,500 years. And then it was considered that animal spirits were the cause. And then, we got electricity. In the 1780s, Luigi Galvani discovered that if he attached electrodes to muscles and sent a current of electricity through it, the muscles would start to move. He tried it most famously with frog legs, and his nephew made the next logical step and used it on the body of a recently deceased criminal. During the public demonstration, the jaw began to quiver. The right hand clenched open and closed, legs and thighs began to move, and an eye even popped open. Most spectators thought they were witnessing a reanimation. Now, if Frankenstein and I's theory is correct, with the right amount of electricity distributed proportionally around the body, we should be able to rekindle that spark of life, creating our modern Prometheus. Are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, yes! Yes, it's working! Look on my works, ye mighty in despair! So, as it turns out, I was wrong. Galvani thought that he was witnessing animal electricity. It's an electrical-like fluid that runs through an animal's body, when in reality, the muscles were just reacting to the electrical current coming into contact with two different kinds of metal in a damp environment. But there are other options for resurrection. Cryonics is the preservation of human bodies in extremely cold temperatures, below -238 degrees. Currently, you could get yourself cryopreserved immediately after death for the low price of $200,000. Or if that is a little rich for your blood, just the head for $80,000, in the hopes that one day science will be able to revive you. It's like the incredibly cold version of a mummy. And speaking of which, the ancient Egyptians spent so much time trying to preserve their dead in hopes that if they were magically brought back to life, they would still be themselves. Actually, real quick, side note, one of the substances used to treat the corpse was called bitumen, which in Persian is moom, and that's where we think we got the name mummy from. However, electrification, cryopreservation, and mummification have yet to revive any person. However, the ancient Egyptians do have a backup plan for living forever, and it's actually pretty simple. You don't have to be alive to be immortal. Yes, right there, stop. Perfect. In Homer's The Iliad, Achilles is given the choice between a long life or eternal glory. He chooses eternal glory because he knows that long after his death, he will still be remembered. People will still be saying his name. Let's try something. I want you right now to tell me the names of your great-grandparents. Do you know? It has been estimated that the majority of us will be remembered for 75 years at most. The ancient Egyptians called this the second death, when their names would be forgotten. But there are ways to circumvent that. I admittedly am not a very good artist, but drawings, photography, and paintings capture you in that exact moment and keep you there forever. Time might age a canvas, but it can't age you. We could go to the museum down the road and look at artwork from 1,000 years ago. The physical bodies of the people represented, long gone, but their image, their history, that feeling of who they are still remains. We all live forever genetically. We can trace our genes back millions of years, and we continue to push our genetics forward. As Einstein said, our deaths are not the end if we can live on in our children, because they are us, and our bodies are only wilted leaves on the tree of life. If someone were to see a photo of you or a painting, what would they say? What would your legacy be? And how will I be remembered? In the words of Jorge Luis Borges, except for man, all creatures are immortal, because they are ignorant of death. And, as always, thanks for watching.